Every racer craves time in the seat. There's no better teacher than experience. The mere moments spent making a run are dissected over and over. Mental souvenirs that may one day fill a trophy case. But in this racing game, each pass also comes with a very physical reminder. You not only relive your laps on the PENDA Point Series, you feel them the next day. This is Trucks and Tractor Power, featuring the best in MTRA monster truck racing. Today, it's the Summer Four-Wheel Jamboree Nationals from the Bloomsburg Fairgrounds in Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania. One of the joys of doing this show is having the chance to meet all the great monster truck fans. You know, one thing we have learned on Trucks and Tractor Power, you can't count out Bob Chandler and the Bigfoot organization with Eric Meager and Dan Runte doing the driving. But they have gotten off to a slow start this season. They've been chasing Fred Schaefer. Ha-ha! But they come into Bloomsburg, and they put both the big Fords in the finals with Eric Meager winning. And now today, Eric Meager is the fast qualifier. So obviously, he has gotten his program together. Look out, it's going to be a great season. And here with more on today's competition is Army Armstrong.
Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania. Gary, there's something mystique about this place. We've had 4 races this year, 4 winners. 1 Chevy, 1 Dodge, and 2 Ford. So they're all knotted at the national points lead. The winner out of here today is going to set the pace for the rest of the year. So once again, Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania, the Jamboree here is going to set the tone for the remainder of the year. If you don't win today, you're playing catch-up.
Take a look at the top 5 qualifiers. There is Eric Meager in his time. Ken Deppy was second fast, a bit of a surprise. Then Dan Runte, Gary Porter, and Fred Schaefer. Well, an old friend returns. David Morris, the '89 world champion, has joined the PENDA Point Series chase. The equalizer taking on Rampage. This is round 1 competition. He would not be around very long. In fact, he hit the Hydra barriers, and Ken Deppy would advance to round 2 competition. Also some highlights from round 1, barefoot against the Boogie Van. The second race in a row, Pam Botters, red lights in round 1. She's showing lots of improvement, but a little over-eager there against Fred Schaefer. And hey, this looks like something we might be able to control, Army Armstrong. The action continues from Bloomsburg. Welcome back to the Bloomsburg Fairgrounds here in Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania, where Ford Trucks present the McCarthy Tire Summer Four-Wheel Jamboree Nationals. The round 2 lineups now, Monster Patrol and Predator come back as the fast losers. As round 2 gets underway, Alan Pizzo in the Predator will go up against Eric Meager in Bigfoot. There is that fiberglass nose on the black painted Predator.
Looks like a cat. He's trying to sneak his way into this field. I tell you what, he has been around the sport for a long time. Alan and his dad, they kind of team up together, a low buck operation, do a lot of indoor racing in the winters, but they come outside to run against some of the big blue boys now.
And that would be Eric Meager out of St. Louis in the Bigfoot number 15. And there's a good look at the blue Ford. Well, Eric had some big shoes to fill with the retirement of Andy Brass.
And Phil, he did.
Well, but not a real big victory. In fact, the Predator ran him pretty close there.
Yeah, well, 5:19, that's a good number, but, you know, it doesn't have to be a big victory. An inch is as good as a mile as this Ford. Boy, Alan had a little rear suspension set down and tore the right rear quarter panel off of that truck.
Let's watch again, and let's see how close he comes to getting out of bounds here. Right there. He just does keep it in bounds. Army?
Eric, it seems like you've hit your stride here. You and the rest of the team seem to be gelling now. You got confidence. Everything's looking good.
That's right. This weekend for us has gone real well. We've got our program back together. Everything seems to be dialed in, and the parts are staying together. That's a big factor here. Consistency is the key. Well, with that consistency comes that comfortable feeling. So if we look a little bit relaxed, it may look that way, but inside we're really not.
Well, the next race pits the top 2 drivers in the PENDA Points chase. Round 2 competition continues now with a look at barefoot. Fred Schaefer, the Dodge, out of Pontoon Beach, Illinois, and he will stage against another of the Bigfoot trucks.
This one being driven by the young gun Dan Runte. Goes by the name of Power Wheels. And Gary, this could be the pivotal race of the year because you get more than bragging rights if you win this one. You get more points than the other guy, and that's what the PENDA payout is based on.
Top 2 in points right now, going side by side only in round 2.
Hole shot by Runte.
Look at the wheel stand by Fred Schaefer. Runte knocks him out, though. Runte at 4.98, but did you see that wheel stand by Fred Schaefer?
The Crush Cam's going to give you a view of a wheel stand you've never seen before, Gary.
That was quite a run by Dan Runte and by Fred Schaefer. Army, you're down there with our Victor.
Dan, the truck looks like it's handling good. You're doing a good job driving a beautiful day here and everything. This could be the day you guys take off on this points thing.
Yeah, we're working on it real hard. Like you said, Power Wheels is really working good. I had a little problem there around before. The truck was just a little squirrely. We changed a couple things, the Trailmaster suspension, and come back, and it hooked and went straight that time.
Okay, real quick, what do you change on a monster truck to make it handle? We hear other forms of racing talking about this, but what do you all change? Bars, length of bars, or what?
Mostly just once we get out here and find out what the race conditions are, it's just shock pressure. You're dealing mainly with shock pressure. It's, more in the back, less in the back, depending on how the truck's handling going down the track and where it's actually pushing down on the pads. Where is it bottoming out on the track?
Well, as round 2 competition continues, there's a look at the Carolina Crusher with Gary Porter. He drives the Bow Tie Brigade Chevrolet, and he will go up against the Sampson truck with a substitute driver.
Yeah, Porter's out of Waitsville, North Carolina. Sampson has a new driver in it, really over from the Bigfoot stable. Dan Patrick had hurt his back earlier, went over to the Bigfoot team, said, hey, I need a hand. They said, no problem. We're going to put Eric Tack in there. He's one of our young gun drivers, give him a little bit of experience. I want you to notice something on the Sampson truck, though. Watch how quick the rear wheels will drop on this truck on the second jump. Keep an eye on it. Watch them just fall out. See? Didn't work for him, though. Porter takes the win.
There's a time of 5.39 to amplify on the work that Sampson is doing with the rear end. He's trying to get that travel, to get that rear end to set down sooner to make for a smoother landing. And you may see that in other trucks in the future.
Well, the privateer, Gary Porter, carries the bow tie colors of Chevrolet into the next round. And Gary, how do you do it? You work out of your own pocket, you work with pickup crews and everything, and you keep battling with these corporate guys.
That's right, Army. It's getting tougher and tougher out here, as an independent, trying to do battle with the big corporate sponsor guys. And, we just try to buy good pieces, come out here, and try to run consistent and do the best we can. Fulton's building my engines now. Chance, my transmissions and torque converters and the big A auto parts. I just try to get good pieces and come out here and try to be consistent.
Well, talk about factory backing. Ken Deppy up next in the Dodge Rampage, the big Hemi, and he will stage alongside Paul Schaefer in the Monster Patrol.
Deppy's driving a vehicle. It's kind of the research and development vehicle for the Jefferson City native. He's the hired gun by Fred Schaefer's operation. Meanwhile, Schaefer runs a salvage operation in northern Indiana. He relies on Chevrolet for horsepower. But Deppy's research and development comes with the underslung chassis as Schaefer comes up on the screen. He'll represent the Chevrolet camp in this battle of the manufacturers.
Well, Paul has staged. The starter looking over at Ken Deppy right now. In fact, his engine died for a second time. So he's taking longer to stage. You can see him there in the cockpit working his right hand on, what is that, the air shifter?
Yeah, he's loading the air shifter right now.
So taking a long time for Ken Deppy to stage in that near lane as Paul Schaefer's Chevrolet starts to heat up, I would guess.
Yeah, something was strange from the starting line right there. I don't understand what's going on, but we're here to race. Let's race.
As Deppy takes the victory, a problem obviously in the far lane with Paul Schaefer. There's the 561 for Ken Deppy. So we'll come back and talk to Ken after this commercial break. Stay with us. Eric Meager getting ready for the semifinals. Right now, let's go down to Army with the winner of the final race of round 2.
Well, Gary, we caught Ken Deppy running around the pit area talking to some of the other drivers about a characteristic of the starting system. Can you explain to me what you all were talking about?
Well, what had happened, they all kill the trucks, to test the killer radios when you go up there. They had killed mine, tested it. I went ahead and I rolled back, you know, got secured, rolled back in. I was right in the process of staging, and they killed it again. And I guess it was inadvertently done. Paul had already staged, and I thought maybe something was wrong because normally, you know, they'll do that if, you know, maybe something the driver can't see. As it turned out, I guess it was inadvertent, and it ends up, when something like that happens, you know, Paul was getting warm, sitting on the line and all that, and it's a bad thing, and I wanted to apologize to him. You know, of course, really wasn't much I could do about it.
So there, that answers the question of what was going on there in the staging as we take a look at the pairings for the final round. First matchup, all four. Then it's Chevrolet against Dodge. And there is a look at Eric Meager as he stages the Bigfoot number 15 out of St. Louis, Missouri. And there is his teammate and right now combatant, Dan Runte in the Power Wheels Bigfoot.
You know, Gary, there's not been a lot of discussion today over these different lanes. Both lanes seem to be okay. Nobody's got a crying towel out there. Everybody's ready to go racing. Everybody's laying their cards on the table. And like you say, they're going out 2 by 2 right now. We're down to the final 4.
Well, we will have a Ford in the final, that is for sure. But will that Ford take on a Chevrolet or a Dodge? That will be the question.
Well, the question really is, will it be a black or a blue Ford in the final?
It will be a Bigfoot Ford. There you go.
Ooh, another good start out of this lane.
And Dan Runte takes the measure of his teammate with a 4.86. There's a look at Eric Meager. He'll go back to the trailer, and Dan Runte will continue on in competition. So a black Bigfoot will be in the finals.
Yeah, now the big question is he going to go against a Dodge or a Chevrolet? Wait a minute, we may have a real problem here.
A problem at the starting line with the Dodge Rampage. The mag is not firing. Gary Porter, meanwhile, he rolls out. So the rules would state that if Gary stages, then Rampage goes on the clock.
Tell you what, with the new kid up there, you knew you were going to have to cut the tree on him, and that's exactly what you did.
That's right. Eric's new, but he's good at cutting trees. He was in mud racing before this. Gary's got both of these trucks running good. It's hard to put 2 Fords like that in the semifinals, but one of them's got to lose and one of them's got to win, so we just let it go at that.
Well, as we take a look at Power Wheels, we can tell you that time is running out for Rampage as Gary Porter waits. We can tell you the 4-wheel jamborees are part of the Special Events Performance Series featuring a weekend of 4-wheel fun. Check out the manufacturer's Midway. There's also several categories of show and shine competition. Contact the Special Events Promotion Company to find out when a jamboree will be in your area. As the controversy continues at the starting line, we can now see that Fred Schaefer is pulling to the line. Let's send it down to Army to update the situation.
Well, we're with Ken Deppy. We got good news and bad news. Good news is there is still a Dodge in competition. Bad news, it's not you, it's your boss. How do you feel about that?
Naturally, Army, I'm really disappointed. It turned out to be a real simple electrical thing. Then, you know, the crew was scrambling trying to get it. Of course, you've only got 3 minutes to fix it. They were just a little bit late finding it. So that put me out of the competition. Hard luck for me. Good luck for Fred, though. You know, at least the Dodge team's got someone still in it.
Now, at first, it appeared that Porter was going to have a bye, but the officials brought back the fast loser from the previous round. Now, Gary Porter cannot be happy about this. In fact, I don't like this rule at all. Who says the Dodge team wouldn't fake a mechanical problem to give Fred the added semifinal points?
Well, I'm going to be real honest with you. I looked down and there was a ground wire off the mags, exactly what the problem was. I mean, I saw it myself.
So something very simple, so it may have been fake.
They may have been looking for the mountain, and it was just a little pebble to trip them up, but the ground wire was off the mag when they were spinning it. I don't know if they took it off or not, but I know a vehicle will not run unless it's grounded. Well, let's go back to the racing. We got a Chevrolet and a Dodge.
All right. The winner here advances to the final. Once again, the points are ever so important toward that final points rundown at the end of the year in the PENDA Points Championship. Gary Porter, the Carolina Crusher, in the far lane. The near lane now being brought back as the fast loser. Fred Schaefer in third place.
Chevrolet.
Yeah, Schaefer has all kinds of trouble. Well, he lost a golden opportunity to gain some points, but Gary Porter continues on. He'll be in the finals against the Power Wheels Bigfoot. Let's look again.
Both of them leave side by side, but right in no man's land, Porter settles down.
And Porter takes the victory. Let's go down trackside and visit with Gary.
What's going through your mind? Because I've seen you cut a tree before, but you were pumped on that one. You drilled that tree.
That's right. You know, Warren, I was sort of mad when I pulled up there to the line. The officials made one decision, and then the competitors out here complaining or something, and they go back and change the ruling that they had already made. And I think that's pretty sad that the officials do that. You know, they made a rule, and if they don't have enough backbone to stand up to their rule, then we need some new officials out here.
Well, obviously, he was not happy with that decision, but hey, talk about a black eye. Oh, boy, you'd have one, too, if you got hit by that truck.
The last time I'm holding the camera.
Tonight on TNN Outdoors. At 9 Eastern, wet your hook on Fishing with Orlando Wilson. Then hold on for big fish and big fun on Fishing with Roland Martin. At 10, the bigger the bass, the bigger the cash on Bassmasters. And at 10:30, Ron Shearer takes you to the great American outdoors. From fishing to hunting to the most scenic spots in the world. Catch all the action tonight starting at 9, 8 Central on TNN Outdoors. There's no place you'd rather be. Bud Light presents the Buckin' Bull Blowout, part of the Professional Bull Riders Tour on Championship Rodeo. Tonight on TNN.
Welcome back. The second race in Bloomsburg is where the tough truckers let it all hang out. Oh, we love some of these highlights. First up, the Mad Bronco of Todd Komowski. Look at the air. Look at the landing.
Todd K with a big bounce there and into the old tire.
And the hard-charging Ford Bronco of Alex Nejas.
There, tire holder and all, lands down and tags the tire.
Almost missed the tire. But the Jeeps would not be outdone by the Blue Oval bunch. Charles Mariner makes sweet music to a tough trucker's ear. Wow. Well, this guy is such a tough trucking legend. He made our open. The family truckster, Jan Kleckner, last year he sunk the whale, but he's back with whale number 2. This is what you call saving it for Sunday. Now watch this.
This guy can work a crowd.
Oh, man, there goes the front axle. He actually did hit the tire. The crowd loved that. From tough trucks to chrome and candy apple, a good truck to get your picture taken in front of. That's the Grand Champion Show and Shine truck. Here's Army.
We're standing with the man that's responsible for this creation. He's out of Detroit, Michigan. His name is Rick Cray. And Rick, I say it's a creation. I know you assembled it, you put it together, but really, you had to create it first. Tell me about what we're looking at here.
Well, I started out with a front axle and a transfer case. Everything else is hand fabricated, from the tubing frame all the way up to a lot of the fiberglass work on the body. I'm a machinist by trade, so I'd saved 1,000 hours of machining time right there. My brother did the inside of the motor, sitting on a four-wheel drive hardware frame, hardware body, and it took a long time, 4 years.
Dollar investment. Everybody wants to know, what does something like this cost?
If I had to put a price tag, probably between $55,000 and $60,000.
Good-looking piece of equipment. Speaking of good-looking pieces of equipment, we're ready for the finals. There is a look at Gary Porter, the Chevrolet, the Carolina Crusher. And he pulls up alongside this guy right here. That's Dan Runte in the Power Wheels Bigfoot, the big Ford from St. Louis, Missouri.
You know, kind of the interesting story here is Runte, the good driver, the kid working for Bob Chandler, got some support financially from the corporate end of America. On the other side of the coin, the All-American dream, Gary Porter living his dream, picking up these sponsors, working out of his own pocketbook. Chevrolet, Ford, this is an All-American final if there ever was one. Plus, you're going to see a good, clean race. Neither driver will try to spook the other guy. They're going to go up there, they're going to square off, and they're going to go to the other end, Gary.
You think Fred Schaefer might be cheering for Gary Porter? I'd like to see that Chevy knock out that Ford for the points purpose.
You better believe that.
Their stage. Let's go racing for the championship here in Bloomsburg. Whole shot, and the victory belonged to the Power Wheels Bigfoot. Dan Runte, he got the whole shot, and it was all Ford.
Dan Runte was possessed today. He was light on that tree. Believe me, he was 100%. Nothing against Porter.
Well, he got a poor start, though. He got a poor start.
Yeah, he burped the throttle, came out of the throttle, then the light went green. Okay, that's called a stutter or a stammer start. And once you lose your momentum, it's over.
And once again, it was all Ford and Dan Runte. He takes the victory. Let's go trackside, and here's our champion.
Dan, real quick, a lot of credit. Come here, tell us who this guy is right here. A lot of credit goes to this man.
Gary Saline, like I said earlier today, he's been keeping us in it.
He's got this motor running just unbelievable. The Ford's taking off like there's no tomorrow, and it's unbelievable. I can't say enough about Gary either, or the rest of the crew for that matter.
Well, they do a good job, but Gary, credit where credit's due. This guy's a good little driver, too, isn't he?
Yeah, a lot of credit. I mean, we can do the best we can here, but if the driver doesn't do his job, it's for naught, too. So he's doing an excellent job, and I give him a lot of credit on that last little blurb there. You know, last year he red lighted on a deal like that, and this time he did a good job.
That all makes for the experience from time in the cockpit. So we'll take a look now at the PENDA points current standings, and Fred Schaefer continues to lead, but the gap narrows. Dan Runte now in second. Porter is third, then it's Meager, and it's Deppy. So that will wrap it up here from Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania. Congratulations all around to Dan Runte. We hope you enjoyed today's monster truck racing.
3 wins in a row for the Bigfoot team as Eric Meager comes over to congratulate Dan.
For Army Armstrong, I'm Gary Lee. We'll see you next week on Trucks and Tractor Power. Now here's news of an exciting video release from Diamond P Sports.